Welcome to Ross Flybox. Today we're going to tie a very early pattern. I had a video up very early on the website. It's a poorer quality, so we're going to redo it. And as well, this fly is very effective in the fall. I fished it coast to coast. It originated out in Washington State on the Satsop River, the East Fork of the Satsop. It is duly named the Satsop Stone. It's probably the first pattern that I actually matched. We countered the hatch very heavy on the upper reaches of the Satsop, and the stimulator and the other stonefly patterns we had just didn't quite match it, so we went back, tied this fly up. It was a hit from the beginning. It's been with me since like 1991, so a very effective pattern for me over the years. Let's go over how we tie it. I start out with a Mustad 94831 hook and rust brown 6/0 uni thread, and we're gonna start our thread. I leave the thread back about an eye length. Trim our tag. And work our thread back to the end of the shank, approximately above the point of the barb. And the first material we're going to tie in is natural elk. I like to stack a small section, not a real heavy tail. And I'm going to tie it in half the shank length. So right about there. And then tie it in. Tie it in loose, work my thread forward, and then come back to my tie-in point. And I find that helps me not to flare the tail too much. I don't want it flared real hard. And then we're going to trim off our butts. This is a messy fly. I don't try and make it pretty. I have a few clippings. It's not that big of a deal. Next material we're going to tie in is a Greenwell hackle. It's a little bit lighter. If you're not familiar with Greenwell, it's just a lighter furnace, more of a dark ginger furnace. And as a matter of fact, we're going to use a slightly different one. You want to make sure you pick one that has a very dark, pronounced center. And I like to sweep it from the front. I sweep it to get the fibers out of the way a little bit, because we're going to tie this in tip first. It doesn't matter whether you tie it in dry fly or wet fly or duller or shiny side. You're going to palmer it forward and you're going to clip it. So and wrap your thread forward and then move that out of the way. Next, you're going to tie in cinnamon caddis dubbing. You're going to dub your abdomen. I use hairline rabbit. That's what I used in the very beginning. You might be wondering why I don't use the curved shank hook. I do occasionally, but the original pattern was tied on a straight shank hook. Did very well for very many years, and I just went back to it. Felt it was the right thing to do. Not that there's a right or wrong to any pattern, but I think it does lay in the water specifically with a with a straight shanked hook, just a little bit different. Alright, we're going to bring our thread back, and we're going to dub our body. We're not going to build a taper in this body, it's going to be a straight body. And you're going to come forward, we're going to need a little bit more. Come forward to about the, I would say maybe the 70% mark. At least the 60. You'll see as we go here. Got a little bit too much on there at once. We just got to come forward a little bit more. You got to make sure that you keep the body level. And we're just still a little bit short. If you're going to err anyway, come forward a little bit more, because you can always bury a little bit longer abdomen, where if it's too short, you will notice it. There we go. And then you're going to palmer that hackle forward. Just evenly palmered. Don't be too picky about it. This is your ribbing. You'll see when this fly is done the look that you're getting from actually underneath the fly, which is the most important look. Make sure you bring it all the way forward, and then tie off in front of the abdomen. And clip your excess. Now before you move forward with the wing, you're going to come in here and you're going to clip off this hackle right about in line with the center, the heart of that hackle, that dark heart. That's all you want. You want the ribbing effect, and you want that dark section remaining. There's no exact science to this. I just get them all clipped off so I don't have any flyers. There we go. Next you're going to tie in your wing. This is very similar. It's the same steps as a stimulator. It's just tied in a little bit different manner, and we have a few more added parts to it. And you're going to tie in your wing to where it extends about 2/3 of the way down the length of the tail. Anchor that first. And then you're going to trim the butts. This is not an exact method. If you leave a little bit, that's okay. It'll help with tapering the thorax portion. That's why I do it in this manner. And then you're going to tie them down. And when you get to about to the point of that eye length behind, you're going to tie in your antenna. I used Greenwell hackle, strip the quill. I get two that are matching, so that as I continue to tie the fly, the antenna are the right stiffness. And you're going to tie it at an angle. Extend it a little bit longer than you want it. And that one rolled on me a bit. You don't want that to happen. You don't want that to happen. Again, you're going to tie it in a little long. And you're going to tie your other one in. Just crisscross it. I leave the tips on, at least for the first one. That way I know about how long they are. I can even them up a bit before I have to clip them. Right back into the thorax. I apologize if this video is a little bit shaky. I'm a little shakier than normal today. And the next material you're going to tie in is your hackle. Same hackle, Greenwell, to match the hook size. I like to go one hook size larger. And you're going to tie that in on the side of your thorax. And then you're going to dub your thorax. Doesn't have to be quite as heavy, because you're binding over an already established tapered thorax with that hair clipped underneath. This pattern gets hammered by everything from October caddis to golden stone. I tie it slightly lighter in a limestone version here in Pennsylvania, but as a rule, this pattern right here fishes best in the original. I start at the bottom, I work back, and then I bring my dubbing back down. You can control the size of the tapered thorax a little bit better that way. If you start at the front, move up to the back to the top, and then bring it back. And bring it right down behind that hackle and stop. Next step is palm of your hackle. I do one full turn right behind the dubbing. Then I bring it up into the dubbing. You can tie this fairly tight. You don't want a lot of dubbing looking through, but it will show as you fish. Nice even steady wraps. And then tie off at the tie-in point of your antennas. Couple security wraps. And before we whip finish, we're going to get this extended antenna out of the way. You're going to come here and tie it about the same length as, clip them off about the same length as the tail is extended out the back. And then whip finish. Making sure not to trap though. A little bit sloppy of a clip job there. Okay, And then you got one more step. You're going to come underneath and you're going to V-notch your hackle. You want this pattern to lie flush in the film. So you're just going to come under about a third of your hackle on the bottom. Clip it off. Not all the way up. Just up to about the black center portion that we were looking at for clipping the abdomen. And there it is, the Satsop stone. Very similar to other patterns. The sofa pillow, the bird stone, little additives from each one. It's been tied quite a long time ago. Make sure you get your antennas even, or else sometimes it will spin. But what you're looking for in this pattern is the underside view. You can see the ribbing. I'll lean the hook a little bit more. You want that ribbing, and you want that dark gill appearance or hair appearance to the abdomen. It's Satsop stone. Excellent pattern. Fish is great for hoppers. Fish is great for an indicator. Fishes over most any stonefly hatch, and will fish very well in the October caddis. Hope it adds to your box as it has mine. Good luck. See you in the water.